Sup nerds, so in today's video we're going to be doing my review on Superman. If you have not seen the movie yet, go check out my non-spoiler review. It's a video on my channel. But after you go watch that video, go see the movie and then come back here. In my non-spoiler review, I talk about all the characters and what I love about them without spoiling what happens in the movie. And then now I'm going to be talking about all my favorite moments and just parts of this movie I really appreciate. But if you do enjoy this video, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and hit a right into the notification bell. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. The movie starts with an awesome opening crawl, kind of like Star Wars style, which was really sick. It goes from 3 centuries ago, 3 decades ago, 3 years ago, and just goes down the list. And it was just a lot of fun, and they do this for a specific reason. They do this because it's not an origin story. They did the same thing with Tom Holland's Spider-Man and the Batman. And man, does it make these movies better. We know their origin story. Don't waste your screen time about telling the same story over and over again. Put us right into the action, and you know, speaking of action, this Superman's beat up for the first time, and he gets jumped on by his dog Krypto. I know it's a hot take, I didn't love Krypto in this movie. I feel like he kind of steals the show sometimes, and people who love dogs and movies, I'm a dog person, but I just didn't love it. I don't know if it was too goofy for me, and you're gonna hear how much I love how corny and goofy this movie really is. I don't know why I didn't love Krypto. He was a fun addition, but I felt like he's just a little too Guardians of the Galaxy-esque compared to what this movie really is. Krypto then drags him to the Fortress of Solitude, and we hear his parents' message, along with a bunch of Superman robots, one of them played by Alan Tudyk. And man, you gotta love him. He's great in everything. K2SO is my favorite droid, and he is fantastic. But as soon as they patch up Superman, he goes and he flies, and I like the flying. I think some people say, oh, it's goofy, whatever. It's fine. He's gonna look goofy flying. That's kind of the point. So he flies back to Metropolis, and he goes to fight the Hammer of Baravia, who is the one who kind of took him out. And this fight isn't great, but it's solid. But I think more importantly, this fight sets up how much Lex Luthor hates Superman and Superman's relationship with the people around him and Metropolis and just everybody, because you love these movies and films, especially superhero films, and especially this happened in like Spider-Man. And of course, Spider-Man is going to have these people of New York behind him, and it was fun to see that in this movie. And I just can't get over how much I love David Cornsweet as Superman and how much I love Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. And their chemistry is just so perfect. And a lot of the relationship, I saw my relationship in it, and I'll get to more of that later, but I love their chemistry, and they're just great. And I love that they didn't pick A-list actors, and we're just seeing the actors. We're not seeing the characters. Like, this was like, that's Superman. That's Superman. And you see him in interviews, and I'm like, that's Superman. And that's just so much fun. You get to see that from the actor and from the character. It's just great. The Daily Planet just feels so alive, and I really, and you wouldn't think so, it's just a newsroom, but I really want a show of the Daily Planet and everything that goes on there, because the chaos of that newsroom was so much fun and pays homage to the original Superman movie and Christopher Reeves and everything that goes with that, because that was a big part of the character and of that movie. Another one of my complaints is that I feel like some of the moments with Lex kind of drag on. His interactions with Superman and him just like delivering lines that are so comic booky is just so much fun. But all that government crap, and I know it doesn't last long, but those are the parts of the movie I'm like, whatever. It just felt like a necessary part of the movie and not something I was looking forward to. When Clark goes back to Lois's apartment and they're like making out, whatever, and they're smiling through it, like, it was just so wholesome, and their relationship is so much fun. But then she kicks into journalism mode, and it was so much fun to see her interview Superman. And I just loved how the interview went. It was not a perfect interview. It was like rocky back and forth, and the relationship is kind of just not perfect. And like, they work on things, and you see throughout the movie they work on things together, and they make sacrifices for each other, and they change, and it is just so beautiful. And I saw a lot of relationship similarities between my relationship and their relationship, and it was just really beautiful to see that come onto screen. One of the main things I saw is that Clark handled things, and Superman handled things his own way, and he's emotional, and maybe he's a little too emotional sometimes, and I think that hit home for me, because I know I am. And Lois was just like cracking down on him, and just more of the fact that they handle things differently. And just because they handle things differently doesn't mean they're not compatible. It just takes some work, and that's the beauty of a relationship. Just because I love the talking parts of this movie does not mean there's not great action scenes. The fight with the giant axolotl monster, that's kind of what it looks like, was just so incredible to see Superman being Superman, and just seeing how he handles things, and him saving everything in sight, with the contrast of the Justice Gang saving the day. But not seeing the world how he sees it. They just kill the monster and they just don't really care, and they're just messing around, and just seeing them not be all like corny and goofy and whatever was just a lot of fun, because you see that contrast in the world everywhere, and people are like, oh well, if everything has to be dark or everything has to be goofy. No, it can be both. But this scene with the camera shots and just how they shoot the movie, the cinematography, the CGI, all of that was just so good. The twist that Superman bases his whole personality, his whole life, based on the first half of his message from his parents, is just so sad that he learns that the second half of the message isn't for him to protect the people of Earth, not to do good, but to rule over them. And get as many wives as he can, and just, you know what I'm saying, and, you know, just rule over these people. These people are weak.
Them hoes, as many hoes as you can.
Yes, get all them hoes, my son.
That's terrible. This message is the heart of the movie. The way it's perceived by people around the world just shows you a vivid image of who we are today as a modern society, and how the media has affected us. The people closest to Superman don't even believe the message is real at first, but even after they find out it's real, they don't trust that Superman, that Clark, that Kal-El, that everything he stands for would turn on them. What I find really interesting is that in today's society, the media is a really big problem. How it's used, how it's perceived, but also how it can be used to do good. And that's why the media is such a staple for the character of Superman. But especially because of how bad the media has been recently, we needed a little hope that everything's gonna be okay. And that's what Superman stands for. And basically, what I'm saying is that this movie came out at a perfect time. Seeing Superman use all of his emotions, his happiness, his goofiness, his anger, his sadness, using all of that was not what I expected when I walked into this movie. I expected this guy to be the most perfect representation of what a person should be, and like these overwhelming, just unrealistic expectations for how a person can react and deal with things, and just be, again, perfect. But he's not. This man loses big, and he just handles it in such a rough way, and everyone would. And that is what is so beautiful about this character. And at the center of all of that anger and sadness is one man, and his name is Lex Luthor. The way Nicholas Hoult is just chilling in his room, just laying back, he's just drinking tea, whatever. He's got this table in front of him. Superman loses it. Clark freaks out and asks, where is the dog? He's not worried about him and how everybody perceives him. He's worried about a dog. Because of course he is. And Lex just goes, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know where the dog is. Oh, it's so good. The line delivery. One of the moments I think hit hardest for me is when Superman goes, maybe that's the real punk rock. And it's a conversation he has with Lois about he sees the whole world as beautiful. Everybody meets, he trusts, and he just sees them as just beautiful. And that's how I see the world too. I don't look at people who I think are saying things that are disrespectful or disgusting, whatever. I don't see them as purely evil. I see an opportunity to teach them and use my privilege and my experiences through my life and my emotional intelligence to try and help them build themselves as a person and just be better. Everything through the media, everything through politics, everything through everything, every daily life that every person goes through, it's ugly. But that's the beauty of being human. And honestly, and I know it's weird, there's one scene in Fairly Odd Parents where Timmy Turner wishes that everyone would be the same, and you see this world, and in this mind, this image just sticks in my brain, and it always has, and I have built my personality, not just off of that, but a lot of things associated with that is just everybody looking the exact same, black and white and just in colorless, and the world's gray, and it's just so disgusting. That hits me to my core, and I love how different everyone is. That's what makes life fun. And man, that leads to some disgusting and just weird and terrible things, but it also just leads to the most beautiful things. People making YouTube videos that are really, really cool. People making art, music, movies. That's why I love movies. That's why I love living and love being human, because I get to see people's talents, and I love watching and seeing how people work and what makes them tick and what they want to do with their lives. I honestly understand when people aren't considerate or kind, because that is such a hard thing to maintain. You don't see that from even myself every day. I try, but the disgusting parts leak out of everybody. I don't make excuses for it, but I understand that it does happen to everyone. And I do my best to not just put my head down and ignore it. I try to dive deeper and help. But man, was that pocket dimension cool. Sorry, I had to take us out of that. It is scary, it is weird, it is a lot of fun. And we're gonna go on an adventure real quick, and then we'll be back to the pocket dimension. Two moments that I didn't love: going to see Lois going to the Justice Gang. Yes, there were some funny moments, but I think it slowed the movie down, alongside Lex going to the Fortress of Solitude. They weren't long parts of the movie, so it wasn't like, oh, this movie's like dragging on, but it was just little parts. So I was like, okay, you didn't need that, or you could have done this in a shorter way or a different way. But again, it doesn't make the movie bad. But a highlight of Lois going to visit the Justice Gang: Mr.Terrific. Fun, fun, fun. Didn't even process this guy was in the movie. I knew the guy who played Darwin from the X-Men movie, because they killed him off. The guy who played him was going to be a character. Didn't process it was Mr. Terrific. I had never heard of Mr. Terrific before. I'm not a DC guy, but man, he is my favorite character in the movie. He gets a moment where he just gets to, and there's no other way to say it, he gets to aura farm. He just goes in. He is the most nonchalant guy you could ever know. He puts a bubble around Lois and just goes in, on these guys and just takes them out. And it's just so great. And, you know, James Gunn has to include some goofy, kind of 70s, 80s-esque music. It was just great. It felt very Guardians, but for him, it works so well. And man, I can't get that song, Fun, 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 out of my head. It's so good, and I know it's called 5 Years Time, but it is so good. And I said this moment was very Guardians, but specifically, it is the Yondu Yaka Arrow moment where he just flies through and music plays. It is so similar to that. But after, we get to see something not so fun. Lex killing Malik in like a Russian roulette style thing with the revolver was just so shocking, because not because he killed him, and partially because he killed him, I didn't think that was going to happen, but also because of how fast it happened. He went through one revolver spin, and then he goes to the second one, and you think, oh, he's probably going to go to a third, and maybe he gets so forth. But on the second one, it just goes. He asks him one question, and he only gets to not answer one question, and then the second one, he just shoots him, and he dies. And it's just, I just felt in the theater, my heart sank. It is such a disgusting moment, but like, man, was it good. And to see this movie be goofy and corny and mess around, but then get real when it needs to, is just great. And it's something that I did not expect in this movie, and I really hoped would happen, because you need some moments that are real. I think in Guardians, there's some moments like this, but not as shocking as this one. But then, of course, you know, still lighthearted, you gotta get some really comic booky crap in this escape for Superman. You got Metamorpho turning his hands into the sun, and then you got him Metamorpho shaping into 100 different things. He's like floaty over here, and he's got tentacles. Like, it's really fun. You see that, you see Superman fighting through the river with baby Joey, and then you see Superman push himself away from a black hole, and the black hole looks sick. It looked really, really cool. The CGI, again, awesome, but it looks so cool. And then he pushes everyone away with his is it ice breath or just breath, whatever, was really sick. Another really great part about this movie is Mom and Pa Kent. They are just so Kansas. Their voices, their interactions with Clark, it's just so great. And you know, just from hearing them, just from seeing them, you know not for a second did they believe anything they read on the news. And they were like, this is our son. He would never do anything. This wouldn't be his true intention about ruling the world. This is not what he was meant to be, and they know that. Getting to see the chaotic newsroom at the end of the movie was just so fun to see them just staying there because they are determined. That's how good the Daily Planet really is. Pa Kent understanding Clark's struggle and going through everything he's been through and being told that he's one thing by the media and by the news and everybody he sees, but knowing he's nothing like that and he's something completely else, and just him being a comforting voice for him is just so beautiful. I think this moment hit home for a lot of people because in this generation, there's just so much bull going on around you, and just trying to do good and just be successful while still being good is just so extremely hard. And at that point, you just need your family. You need your parents to tell you, no matter what you do, we are here for you and we're going to be in your corner no matter what, because we know you are going to do good. We know how great you are, and we're here for you. And I think a lot of people just need to hear that. And here you have this scene where they're evacuating everyone. You think, okay, maybe they're going to stop everyone. Somehow Lex is going to close everything off and whatever. No. Every single person escapes, except for one person. Car lacking behind is going over the bridge. The building is coming down on top of her. And here comes the Superman. She drives away safely and rises. The man beat emotionally, physically, any way you can think of. This man has been taken down, but still, he rises in triumph, and in the hero's triumph, with the most beautiful theme of all. Just rises Superman. It is so, so good. One of my favorite moments, one of my favorite shots in all of superhero cinema. And one of my least favorite fight scenes out of the whole movie was the Engineer and Ultraman fight in the stadium. Just because I feel like there was a lot of potential to put some emotion into these characters and have at least there be some connection between the Engineer and Superman. They tried to build it at the very end there, but it just wasn't good enough for me. And I know Lex is the one who sent them, so you have the connection there, but it's not the same. And especially, it's one of the last fights in the movie, so you need that to be a big moment, so you want there to be a good connection there. But something really cool was that I did not know where Superman was going to go. Was he going to go save Metropolis, or was he going to go protect the people of Jarhanpur? And I was thinking, is he going to do both? How is he going to do both? Like, what? But he has some friends. Sorry, kid, you don't get Superman, but you get an upgrade! What a good line by Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner, Green Lantern. Seeing the Justice Gang show up and protect the people of Jarhanpur and taking out the Baravian government was just so much fun. The middle fingers to the tanks, great. And for the people saying that the moment where Lex kind of describes why he hates Superman, it's very comic booky. I know that. So the people who are movie critics, or just the people who don't like it and just want to hate on this movie, think of it in this way. Lex is putting himself up with Einstein and Galileo. So he's proving to himself, he's like making an excuse and just being like, this is okay. Like, this is a great thing. I'm being great here. He is hyping himself up to take out Superman because he feels like he is the real God. He is protecting the people of Metropolis from this disgusting alien and this thing, and he just feels so good about it, so he is preaching. That's the way I see this. Because then Lex delivers one of my favorite lines from this movie. 1A! 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 It is so good. It is so good. That moment's great. And just, I don't know, the hatred in his eyes and the shininess of his bald head was awesome. I don't know why I love that moment, but it's great. But with the music and Superman taking out the Raptors, but not killing them, was really, really cool. Superman's final speech is probably my favorite moment in this movie. He is there, and I walked in this movie expecting this unrealistic look at hopefulness and just pure joy and just hope for the future and what we should all strive to be, but getting a guy that is just the most human of all. He's all of us. He's in front of the whole world, and regardless of what they say about him or what they do to him, he does what he needs to do, and that's protect and defend even the people who throw cans of beans at his head. Because no matter what, we're all in this together now, and we only have one shot at this. So why dwell? Why fight? Why look at the world as black and white? Why not acknowledge that we breathe the same air, we make the same mistakes, we go through a bunch of different things, and some people have it harder, but you can't just mope around your whole life. You've got to stand up, and you have to live and do whatever makes you happy, because you can't just survive, you gotta live. Listen to the guy from WALL-E.
You will survive.
I don't want to survive! I want to live!
Something I did not expect to say after this movie: Superman is one of my favorite superheroes of all time. I could say I'm literally Spider-Man. I could say I'm literally Batman like everybody else. But I'm literally Superman, and I wouldn't have it any other way. And then you have Lois dragging Superman away for an interview. And instead they go out, and Superman and Lois make out, and they spin and they fly. Because when you kiss the love of your life, that's what it feels like every single time. Just floating. Superman robot number 4, also known as Gary, coming up at the end of the movie and repeating the line, "Shall we play the video of your parents?" And then him going, he finds it soothing. But instead of playing the terrible message from his parents, his terrible Kryptonian parents, they show Clark growing up with his real parents, Ma and Pa Kent. And just to top it all off, just puts on some fun, goofy, punk rocker, that's the song, at the end of the movie, and just him spinning around, and you see all the moments from his childhood. Just, I was crying. It was so good, and that line mimics a lot from Guardians, where you see Yondu go, "He was your father, but he wasn't your daddy." And that was just so good. But in the post-credit scene, we get to see Millie Alcock as Supergirl. And seeing that post-credit scene really got me excited for that Supergirl movie. I don't know if I'm going to love it as much as Superman, just because of how much I relate to the character. But it should be a lot of fun. And also, now I understand why Krypto did not give off the same vibes as Superman. It's because it's her dog. Of course it's her dog. Just no boundaries. And that's my review for Superman. So if you did enjoy, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, and right into the notification bell. And as always, have a fantastic day. And if you cannot have a fantastic day today, have a super day tomorrow. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Later, nerds!